look in a study they did in a survey that the average worker, like service worker in this country, watches 30 hours of television a week. Children, they say 40 to 60 hours of television a week, a full-time job, watching nonsense. This is what they're doing. When you go to the managers of these people, they watch 20 hours a week. When you go to the heads of the people over the managers, the overseers, then you get like 10 hours a week. When you get to the CEOs, they watch 2 to 3 hours of television a week. 50% of that material is material related to the work that they're doing. So the movers and shakers in this world are not sitting around watching television. They're utilizing their lives for shar, for evil. And they're spreading their facade all over the world, but they're busy at it. And the Muslims are asleep, and because we have gone to sleep, they have taken over. Because we have gone to sleep, they have taken over. And that's why we find ourselves in the horrific condition we find ourselves in. And until the Muslims wake up, it's just going to, one nightmare to another. We're just going to be in one nightmare to another. That's all it is. They're just nightmares because we're asleep. And when we wake up, then we can enter into the light of day. And Islam is a deen about waking up. That's what it is. Religion is supposed to wake people up. Islam is not an opiate. There are other religions that fulfill that function. In fact, they got rid of religion and now they just spread opium, quite literally. The same people that used to control the state, that controlled religion to maintain the masses, to do what they want them to do, when they got rid of religion, when they found it was no longer useful, now they literally spread drugs. You can see this. The CIA in this country is directly involved and engaged in drug dealing, bringing in cocaine, putting it into the inner cities in this country. In Liverpool, in England, in Liverpool, this is not a joke, I'm not making this stuff up. You can go buy this in mainstream bookstores and read this stuff of people within these organizations that admit this. They'll even admit this on 60 Minutes. I mean, this is not a joke, this is reality, people. There are people that want to keep you asleep. If they don't use the drugs of white powder, they'll use the drug of television, they'll use the drug of their mass media, they'll use all these drugs, but they're going to keep you asleep because they fear the day that you wake up. That's what they fear. And you should be very well aware of that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this in the Quran. لِيُرِيَ فَرْعَوْنُ وَهَمَانَ وَجُنُودُهُمَا مَا كَانَ مِنْهُمْ يَحْضَرُونَ. To show Fir'aun, all these political tyrants, and to show Haman all these multinational economic, political, economic powers that are literally subjugating, humiliating, stealing the minerals and resources of Muslims and human beings all over the world in order for them to play golf on the weekends. And then you have Junudahuma, those like the Pentagon and all these powerful militaries that go around tyrannizing people and humiliating people, bombing innocent civilians, gassing human beings. We had Kurdish human beings that were gassed. Be aware of that, people. Kurdish human beings living in villages, mothers with their babies gassed by these people. This is how they feel about human beings. This is how they feel about it. Those gas bombs weren't made in those countries. They're made by the same people that bring good things to life. I mean, it's not a joke. This is reality, people. This is reality. And if you don't like it, go back to sleep. But this is reality. You're all adults and you better start just being aware of what kind of world we're living in and what we have to do to make some changes. Because the changes aren't going to come around if we just keep sleeping along, dozing along, putting on the snooze button. Because the alarm clock keeps going off. Allah has given us enough warning and we just sit around. But Allah says that He promises to show Fir'aun, Haman, and his armies what they were fearing from these people. You see, when the day that they wake up, the day that they say we're not going to take any more.
And as we have been programmed mentally, intellectually, one must be aware of this being programmed. Like a computer.
The programming that we are constantly assaulted by throughout our life conditions us. It programs us to a particular worldview.
Is they are absolutely propagandizing the world with all of their theses about the nature of the universe, that we live in, where we come from, our origins, the origin of the universe, and so forth.
The project is literally the secularization of the world, to completely strip the world from religious beliefs. This is the project, and that is why it is called Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new secular or worldly order.
A new study says the news media have been pushing a gospel of godlessness on the American public.
Sure, it's hard for some of you to believe, but you will never see it more clearly than you will today. I mean, it's just so amazing. The creationists were right all along. To be honest, they just didn't have the argumentative skills.
All of you are engaged in running your mouths, doing your business, multiplying, buying houses, cars, business, whatever you're doing. And when you're told about God, religion, life, morality, you're saying, look, I ain't got no time for that.
Because this media is here and designed to make sure that they ask no critical questions. To make sure that the only thing that they are concerned about is having a good time. The only thing they're concerned about is filling their bellies. The only thing they're concerned about is acquiring more and more material things. And so that is why today, one of the struggles that you have as young people, that when you want to do different events and you want to talk about real issues, you have the struggle of many of your peers who've been so conditioned in this matrix that they would rather party than listen to the truth. They would rather party and shop and go to the mall than to stand up for issues of justice. They're stuck in the matrix.
You have it. Allah has given it to us. He's telling us in the Quran, He's given you deen. He's the liyuzahirahu ala deen kulli, is to master, overcome and supersede every other deen, every other way of life, whether it be Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianism, communism, every ism. Islam is destined to master them all. So, وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ, no matter how much the unbelievers might not like it. And he repeats the same formula in the Quran again, and he ends by saying, وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ, no matter the mushrik might not like it. This is the destiny of the deen. And he repeats the same formula again in the Quran 3 times. He says, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى, He it is who has sent His messenger with guidance, but with haqq, and with the religion of truth, لِيُزْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, that it may prevail, overcome and supersede every other deen, bulldoze them all. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. Enough is Allah is a witness to this fact that is going to make His deen to prevail with you or without you. But me human rubbish, I say all of you, you and me, Allah is giving us that opportunity to serve His deen, do a prophet's God and earn a prophet's reward. Allah has given you the answer, solution to the problem. Read the Quran and let Allah speak to you. Allah will do it for you. Allow His book to touch the heart. And inshallah,